No one that understands Bitcoin's afraid of the volatility.
The Federal Reserve is a very interesting thing, and it's sort of gotten it wrong a lot. And he's tending to be a little bit late on things. He gets a little bit too early and a little bit too late. And, that's very largely it's a gut feeling. I believe it's really a gut feeling. And I used to have it out with him. I had it out with him a couple of times very strongly. I fought him very hard. And, we get along fine. But I feel the president should have at least say in there. Yeah, I feel that strongly. I think that in my case, I made a lot of money. I was very successful. And I think I have a better instinct than, in many cases, people that would be on the Federal Reserve or the chairman.
You'll continue to see layoffs. I mean, look, if you looked up disaster in the dictionary, you'd see Intel. Look at Cisco. It's a have and have nots. There's actually a lot of growth that's happening in tech in terms of what we're seeing from hiring, but it's really the strong that are getting stronger. But look, that's why Cisco did Splunk acquisition and others. They're going to have to really do that through M&A.
At the end of the month is going to be, because I think we have Jackson Hole on the same week, so it's going to be a lot. Plus, it's the last week in August, right into Labor Day weekend. What risk event are we set up for here?
I think that's to get at the popcorn moment in terms of NVIDIA. I mean, even if you look at TSMC and some of the breadcrumbs going into this robust demand in terms of what we see. And I think right now the street needs to see that to just give further credence to what we saw in Microsoft, Palantir, Alphabet, ServiceNow, and others in terms of monetization happening in AI. But that's going to be one of the most anticipated earnings calls for hearing from Jensen and NVIDIA probably in the last 4 or 5 years.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the patrons. If you're not a part of the patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And guys, make sure you go to the TikTok, like, and follow. We got some great videos coming up. But we have Michael Saylor. You gotta love the volatility, and yes, you do. And that's if you're a trader. If you're a holler, you just sit back, get your popcorn, and let it play out. Remember, guys, I'm the one who said, get your popcorn. But the fact is, they know you're not going to have the stomach for it because you don't know the plan. You can go over any big stock when it first started, had these big ups and downs. Let's take Amazon, for instance. And it was so volatile. Now you have NVIDIA. That's so volatile. But if you hang in, you're definitely going to win. And now when it comes to these NWO stocks and NWO cryptos, as long as you can hang in, you're going to be fine. And I talked about this earlier today, but we had Trump on the Federal Reserve. He would like to have some say. Guys, we know he's just playing. We call the leader of the United States a president for a reason. Even Biden went over this. He went over it in code, but he went over this. In the Constitution, there is no nobility. It should be a king here, a chief. But you get a president, and the president is appointed by the central banks. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And that's why the Fed stays independent. And guys, we have these layoffs keep coming. And the layoffs that we're seeing, these are the good jobs. These are the six-figure jobs. These tech companies. And remember, the NWO caused the problem, wait for the reaction, and run in with a solution. We're going to see these small businesses take a beating soon. Yes, these big tech companies are going to be fine. They can lay off all day because they're just replacing the people with artificial intelligence, but it's harder for the small businesses to catch up. And when the small and medium-sized banks take a hit, the small and medium-sized businesses are going to take a hit. And that means you're going to have a mass layoff. And we already see unemployment take a move up. And then we have the AI war race. And all you have to do is listen to Palantir. He sounds like he's in an Avengers movie. Star Wars is definitely coming. Remember, guys, they're going to be turning on these supercomputers. And guys, remember, this generation is chosen because not only is it the weakest, but it also is the dumbest. Yes, I have to say it. Remember, my people perish from the lack of knowledge because they reject it. They stay distracted on things that don't matter. And you guys know who've been with me from the beginning. I've been telling you, educate your friends and family Now, guys, we're close to September. Look out for yourself and do what you can for your friends and family with what you have. But now you don't have time to educate. Guys, we're leading into September. Once we get this new president, the movie is about to begin. And we already saw the simulation done during the C word. Every sector was disrupted, and most people were forced to go online, and that's what they wanted. That's to bring in this digital economy, and you'll be getting free money. But we have these stores locking up more and more items, so therefore it's going to force you to go online. And anyone who goes into these stores, we can clearly see after the C word, the inventory has totally changed. If you're going shopping, you see something you like, you used to could come back 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later. Now maybe only 1 or 2 items. You better get it now. Stores that had cheap goods, Burlington, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and others who may get items from a Dillard's or a Macy's, their inventory is just not there. You used to could go into TJ Maxx or Marshalls and get a polo shirt for kids for $7 or $10. It's not happening no more. Instead, they'll give you some Champion. And remember, the Cryptoteacher told you. Because he knows, when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. Y'all have a wonderful day.
I am of an age that I remember the arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union when it came to nuclear weapons. Should we be anticipating an arms race in generative AI?
I think we're already seeing it. It is certainly a race. We see particularly China investing. It's a race even among our own companies. And again, so the important thing is putting some guardrails on there to make sure that we have some norms about what we will and will not use this very powerful technology for. I think, again, the U.S. is taking the lead. We've gone out and gotten dozens and dozens of countries to sign on to a responsible AI normative framework. China has not signed yet. Russia has not signed yet. Iran has not signed yet. If they use AI in a way that's immoral or not responsible, the answer is not for us to do the same. The answer is for us to find smart counters to make that use ineffective.
Can we learn from the private sector? I'll give you an example. Maybe there are others as well. SpaceX and Elon Musk. Now, that was not military, but he was not afraid to fail. He failed quite a few times and learned from every failure. It was a part of his strategy. Can we take some of that at least and apply it when it comes to defense?
We absolutely need to. And in fact, back in a previous administration, the former acquisition executive for the Navy, a fellow named Hondo Geurts, he wanted to send that message, and so he created an Acquisition Officer of the Year award, and he gave it to a guy who was working with an emerging technology, and the first instantiation failed, and then they learned from the failure, and the next instantiation worked, and he made that guy the Navy's Acquisition Officer of the Year, trying to send a message, which is great, but it's part of the answer. But you've got to create like, how do people get rewarded? Do they get promoted? Do they get recognized? Is there a career path? And right now that is not in place, and we need to put it in place with some urgency.
For the past few years, you might have noticed a change at the big box stores and chain pharmacies where you run your errands. In more and more stores around the United States, retailers say they've had no choice but to lock personal care and household products behind plexiglass in an attempt to ward off organized bands of thieves looking for goods to resell online. These kinds of thefts do occur, but it's not clear if they're really a big enough problem to justify the commonality of these tactics. Making products impossible to grab reduces theft from shelves. But retail industry analysts and experts told me that it's not clear that those benefits outweigh the other problems this tactic causes for retailers. Locking up shelves adds friction to browsing, stymies impulse purchases, and treats customers like potential thieves, which can all hurt a store's bottom line in the long run. When retailers go all in on locking up products instead of addressing issues like sloppy inventory practices and understaffing, experts say they're endangering their businesses. If customers can't easily pick up the products they need, more and more of those everyday purchases are likely to be made online. Not only will that cost retailers sales of those products, but it will likely cost them foot traffic and customer loyalty.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.